Why did they leave if they claimed they loved you? Chosen ones, some people don't leave because they don't love you. They leave because loving you would force them to grow. You were the mirror they couldn't face, so they ran. Not from you, but from the version of themselves they weren't ready to become. Stop internalizing the abandonment. It wasn't your fault. It was your frequency. The ones who are meant for you won't flinch when the mirror shows truth. Stay tuned. Valerie, talk to him.
They didn't leave because they didn't love you. They left because love requires evolution and they weren't ready to evolve. See, when someone stands in front of you with open arms, truth in their chest and love in their hands, it confronts everything inside of a person that's still rooted in fear. And that confrontation, that's the real discomfort. Because when someone's been surviving through performance, loving someone like you forces them to feel, to face the parts of themselves they've buried, to drop the act, to stop hiding behind wounds, blame, or logic. You became the mirror they didn't consent to. And even though they felt the pull, even though they saw your soul, they weren't willing to meet their own. So they left. Not because you were too much, but because you were exactly enough to activate the change they were avoiding. And I need you to really let that land. You didn't get left because you were broken. You got left because you were whole. Because your wholeness made their fragmentation impossible to ignore. You didn't scare them away, their own growth did. So stop asking what you could have done differently. Stop rehearsing the past and picking at old wounds. The truth is, your love was never the problem. It was the mirror it carried, the light it revealed, the truth it unlocked. Let them go, because real love doesn't retreat when it's confronted with truth. It rises, it transforms, it meets you there. So breathe, because the ones meant for you will never be afraid to become who they're called to be. Not in your presence, but because of it.
It's inside out, not outside in. It's inside out, not outside in. So you see, chosen ones, long ago you made a promise to yourself. You wanted to find a love that was the opposite and the antithesis of what you experienced as a child. So you crafted yourself. You decided to work on yourself. You worked on yourself from the inside out, not the outside in. You decided that you wanted to craft and you wanted to mold yourself in the image of what you wanted and what you needed as a child. Most people don't do that. I don't know if you realize how unique and special you are. I don't think you realize how different you are from the average person, chosen one. So I say that to say is that most people, what they do is they run from the pain. They run from their wounds. They run from what they wanted because it's too painful to actually get what they want. Because in order for you to get what you want, you had to confront what you didn't have. You had to confront all of your core wounds. You had to confront all the times you neglected in order to say, you know what? I want this and I want something. I need something that I didn't receive. So they didn't run from you. They ran from the pain. They ran from the fact that in order for them to love you, they had to acknowledge what they didn't have. They had to acknowledge what they were lacking. Valerie, talk to him.
They didn't run from your love, baby. They ran from the mirror that your love became. You see, real love, soul-aligned love, it doesn't just comfort, it confronts. It doesn't just feel good, it feels real. And the truth is, when you built yourself from the inside out, you stopped being easy to digest for people who only live on the surface. You became medicine. And medicine don't always taste sweet. You didn't just want love, you became it. You chose to break generational silence. You chose to hold your inner child instead of abandoning them. You chose to feel the ache instead of numbing it. And that kind of self-work, that kind of truth, it exposes the ones who've never dared to face themselves. So when they saw you, they didn't see too much. They saw everything they've been running from. Your presence whispered, I know you're hurting. Your love said, I see you. And their fear screamed, get out. Because loving you meant laying down the armor. It meant putting down the distractions. It meant getting honest. So no, they didn't run from you. They ran from what you awakened in them, from the version of themselves they're still too afraid to meet. But don't dim, don't shrink, don't perform, because one day someone will walk in, not to complete you, but to meet you at your level, in your light, with nothing to run from, because they've done the same work from the inside out.
What you do most is what you do best. What you do most is what you do best. So you see, chosen one, for your whole life, what you've done is you've consistently worked on yourself. You've consistently turned yourself into the person that could receive the love that you always dreamed of. You turned yourself into a person that you needed as a child. You turned yourself into the person that can hold whatever life has in store for them. Most people do not do that. Most people, they run from the version of themselves that they need to become to actually get what they really wanted out of life. They run from happiness. They run from the discipline it takes to become the person that they would respect. What you do most is what you do best. So the fact that you've worked on yourself to become the best, that a lot of times is intimidating, because when people see you, they end up looking at you and they compare themselves to you. They compare the fact that you've personified your best self. You've personified your higher self. And they know that everything that you want and everything that you say you want and everything that you say you are is a genuine article. And because of that, you'll get everything that you want out of life, whether it's love, whether it's money, whether it's peace. But when you live in that truth, you force others to live in their truth. And most people aren't prepared to pay that toll. Valerie, talk to him.
You became the thing they kept saying they wanted, but never built the discipline to embody. You see, when you commit to healing, when you commit to choosing alignment over comfort, you start to change the atmosphere just by walking into the room. Because your life, your presence, your peace, it exposes the lie. The lie that says, just wait, it'll come to you. The lie that says, you don't need to change, just manifest it. The lie that says, you're already enough, when deep down they know they've been avoiding the work. But you didn't avoid it. You met yourself in the fire. You rebuilt yourself from the ground up. And now your life is a reflection of your habits, not your hopes. Because what you do most is what you do best. And you, chosen one, you've made healing a lifestyle. You've made self-respect a rhythm. You've made truth your baseline, right? So when you walk in love, when you speak your vision, when you show up in your power, you don't just inspire people, you trigger them. Because you represent who they could be if they stop betraying themselves. So don't water it down. Don't shrink to make them comfortable. You didn't go through the fire just to dim your flame. You earned this frequency, and now that you're here, you're going to keep rising, because your discipline, it's divine.